Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are going to be going over the wire stripper that I added to the Leatherman Surge, and also another tool that I just added recently that I think has really helped make this even more useful to me in my everyday work. So first of all, I want to go over the mod that I did with the wire stripper. Now I want to mention that the only other tool I know out there that is even close to this is the SOG's wire stripping tool. And the last I checked, you can still get it for around $15. That does work. I have it and I will review it in the future. But what I like about this tool is that when the jaws meet properly, it actually stops and you get a correct gauge to strip the wire. So anyway, that's the SOG's multi-tool really doesn't do that. It doesn't have a stop. At least when I tried to put it on my multi-tool, it didn't seem to work that way. So that's why I like this a lot better. All right, so if you want to do this to your Leatherman Surge, first of all, you'll need to buy the commercial electric wire stripper multi-tool. I think it's called a 7-in-1, but I can't remember for sure. But anyway, you have some Torx bits that Torx attachments here that you have to undo. And then on this side at the top, you also can undo this little thing right here. Actually, I'm not sure if you need to do that. And then this is actually spring loaded. This tool in here is spring loaded. And so it sort of snaps out and snaps back. So once you undo this part, then basically I just had to pry this apart. And I snapped off the sides of it, and then I pried this out, and then I was able to get this tool out of this tool and start thinning it down for the project that I needed. So once you get the tool out of the commercial electric multi-tool, you will need to thin this down a lot. So it is going to it will come almost twice as thick as it is. So you'll need to use lots of water or take lots of breaks so you'll cool the metal down. On my first try, I burnt the metal. I got too excited trying to thin it down and didn't end out too well. And as you're in the process, you will need to take off quite a bit of the handle as well. So you want it to fit properly in the Surge, so it doesn't need to be hanging way out the back. So you will need to take a fair amount off the handle as well. So once you've thinned it down so that it fits, and I kept taking the tool and seeing if it would work in the Leatherman Surge and taking it back to the grinder, and I would try it again. Once it fits, it probably is a good idea to grind down, thin this out a little bit more in the pivot. Now the pivot will fall out. This is actually the second try in doing this, and it's fallen out both times. So what a guy at church recommended, an engineer there, is that I actually take a punch and set this on something like an anvil and actually put a hole in the middle so that it thickens or widens the metal, pushes it out so that it actually grips, and that is working for the moment. Now, this isn't a finished product. It's not perfect. It still has a little bit of wobble, which I don't like. I think I need to work some more with this pivot to make sure that it stays like this all the time. So that is something I need to work more on, but it definitely works better than, for instance, I got a pop rivet and I tried to use it and basically the whole thing stuck because there was no room for this to move. So if you can come up with a better solution, I'm all for it, and I love to hear your ideas, but so far this is what works best for me. All right, so let's go ahead and look at how it fits in the T-shank adapter. So once we pull this forward, there we go. So then you have to use one of the tools that are in the pouch, or it's a good idea to use them as a guide. And so then what I did is I have a metal marker, and I went ahead and I traced it out, and I was also able to line it up with this hole right here so I could use that as well. So then it fits pretty close, And again, it's a lot of tedious thinning of the metal, shaping of the metal. And I use my bench grinder to do this, and it just took a lot of time. You can see I got too anxious there at the bottom and burnt the metal a little bit. But anyway, and then it fits in here. And this also will need thinned a lot down at the bottom here as well, because when you get it out of the commercial electric multi-tool, it is a very thick tool. So again, you have to do a lot of shaping, and just it's a lesson in patience. But eventually you get it here, and then you can see I can even use this right here, and then move this over, and then it actually snaps in place. Now, one of the things I also had to work with was getting this to fit just right. So I needed enough clearance, and I still might need to shave this off a little bit more just to make sure the jaws meet. But I actually used this for work last night, and it did a pretty good job. So I was pretty happy that I could add that as an extra tool to Leatherman Surge, and I'm just really happy about that. It works for smaller wires. The normal tool that the Leatherman Surge offers, it does work for some thicker wires, but what I do, I need to use thinner wires, or I need to wire strip or strip thinner wires. So also I wanted to mention that it will stick out a little bit. That's not a huge deal to me because these stick out a little bit, just like this sticks out a little bit. And I find it fits in the pouch just fine. Again, this is my very worn pouch, but it has no issue right there. And in the hand, it's not that uncomfortable. So anyway, that's that. All right, so, and then quickly I just want to mention one last tool that I've added to the Surge, and that is going to be an ink pen. Now, I know this is in the bit driver spot, and I actually do use the bit driver at different times, but what I want to do in the future is to mod this one more time and add the Gerber center drive bit driver on the outside of the tool. So I've seen other people do that, and I really think that would be a huge bonus to this tool, and I would use that every day. So I plan to do that in the future, so that will make this redundant. So what I want to do is use this space, and so I came up with this. So what I did was I took a Victorinox refill for the pen, something like the Midnight Manager or the Swiss Card ink pen. I think it's similar in size. Anyway, the smallest one I could find, and I was able to get these off Amazon some time ago for another project. And it only takes a tiny bit of these plastic beads. You heat it up in boiling water, you put it in a can like this, and then you just shape it around it. And unfortunately, this bent, but that ended up being sort of a good thing. And I got ink on myself now. But anyway, so because now it fits around the metal part on the inside of the Surge. So let me show you real quick. There is this tab in here. Let's see, there it is, this tab right here. So you'll notice that when I seat this all the way down right here, and then this is sort of bent to the side, and then over there it seats all the way down to the bottom. So able to do that, and then to demonstrate how this works, let's see if it will write on this cardboard. Anyway, so I'm able to use that, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So in my job, we still have to use ink. So again, all my work orders are done on tablets. I'm using my phone. I've got Wi-Fi equipment, but there's still service tags, there's still stickers, there's still filters. All those you still need an ink pen. And when you run out of a part and you can't remember, I like to take notes. They encourage us actually at my work to still carry notebooks in our pocket, paper notebooks. I don't, but I do have them in the work truck. So I find that the ink pen is still very useful in my day-to-day work. So I was pretty excited about that. It fits all the way down there and fits right inside. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and we've got a lot more coming up. We'll see you in the next one.